Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. And this is going to be a bit of a reboxing video. Not an unboxing, not a review, it's a reboxing video, that's what it is. It's going to be a game, a video, not a game. It's going to be a video where for both Ankh, Great Wall, and Root, I'm going to basically show you how I store my games. And this is something that's been requested from time to time, and the reason I'm doing this specifically now, or starting this series now, I don't know how frequent they'll be. This may be the only one. We'll see. We'll see how things play out. But while they have been requested, and while I've been meaning to get to them, the current reason I'm talking about it is because of the Great Wall, which has started to land, and I've seen a decent amount of frustration about the way the walls in the game don't really fit back into the box, at least not the way they're shipped to you. So you basically have a few choices, none of which are necessarily ideal, and to be very clear, this video won't necessarily solve your problem. At the end of the day, everything in the way I store my games comes down to two things that I'm prioritizing. The first is going to be space. I don't like an unnecessary amount of boxes. If I need them, I will have them, but I don't want them if I can get away with them, if I can get away without them. And then number two is going to be, I really do not like individually pulling out inserts from miniatures from specific spots in inserts. I hate the process of trying to figure out exactly where everything belongs, what's going to be the story with them. It just adds an unnecessary amount of work to set up and clean up of a game. Now, that does come up with a trade-off, which means that this video may not be helpful to you. The trade-off is it means my miniatures are often not as protected to the way those inserts are often designed to protect them. How many broken miniatures have I had in the course of my 10 years of gaming? Not that many, which is why I continue to do it. But it might be a problem for you. Now, before I begin, I'm 4 minutes into the video, but before I begin, two things worth noting. First of all, if you like this mug, we play area control games, more Kemet themed than Ankh, but I figured it fit for this video. I'll throw a link down below. Basically, there's a Kickstarter, Ignite, can't remember the name of their company, but they are basically running a kind of promotional thing to try to raise money to pay for the extra shipping from freight costs and all that. So they're doing stuff like this, where they sell mugs and t-shirts and things that you might be interested in or might not be. And number two is this is a reboxing video. Another channel that does this a lot more than I do and probably does a far better job, worth checking out, is going to be Side Game LLC. I'll throw a link to that down below. And with that, let's go ahead and start this off with the Great Wall. Timestamps down below in case you want to jump to any particular section. This is the way I store my copy of the Great Wall. And again, like I said already, to be very, very clear, this is going to involve removing the various, many, but not all of the trays. Now, I have everything for the Great Wall, all condensed into these two boxes. And let's show you the smaller one over here first. The smaller one is going to contain basically all my miniatures nicely bagged. I've played this game multiple times. I still have no broken miniatures, although to be fair, one of the flags on one of these blue miniatures does feel a little wobbly, although that was from when I first removed it from the insert, so I'm a little nervous about my decision to store them in bags. But you can see over here, we have the various bags and the board, and one miniature that won't fit into its own bag, so I just took it out because why not? It actually fits into this bag, but doesn't belong in that bag. It belongs in this bag. So this larger bag doesn't fit one miniature, so I've resigned myself to the fact that it is what it is. We have the board, we have the player screens, we have all that in here, and then like I said already, or like you saw already, nothing to say, we're going to have the various bags of the clan factions all stored in here. And before you're asking, by the way, because if you were asking, yes, everything in this game is sleeved. I have absolutely everything sleeved for this, so if you're wondering if everything fits, it does. And if you're cringing as I slowly mash down the miniature so the box lid fits, well, I get it. Honestly, this one just doesn't feel like it was before. Sometimes I have to do this a bit. It all usually fits. And again, no broken miniatures yet. And again, it's nerve-wracking. It is. Especially if you're a painter. If you're a painter, I make no guarantees I make no guarantees either way, so you're kind of stuck either way. But yeah, I have all the clan factions kind of nicely in there. That's going to be box one. That's going to be the black powder expansion. And if you're wondering where the other boxes are, they've been thrown out. I don't keep boxes I'm not using, so that's gone. And then we have these over here. Now, as someone pointed out, your options here are basically, the options on the table are not ideal no matter who you are, whether you're Awakened Realms, whether you're a backer. You don't have a lot of good options because they have these towers over here, which I just pull out in one big stack over here. And these towers, if you are going to constantly reassemble them, first of all, it's a pain. I've assembled these once, that was enough for me. And second of all, is it's going to add to the wear and tear and literally just slowly break and wear these down over time. I do not recommend assembling them again and again and again. I absolutely do not. Now, what does that mean your options are? Your options are either, well, assembling and reassembling them, which I don't recommend. Your options are also going to be having an entirely separate storage solution for these, which means your large amount of boxes is already going to be not ideal, or not enough, that is. Or doing what I do, and basically, well, throwing out some of the miniature trays and dealing with it as is. Now, on Awakened Realms side, they released a whole statement. It basically comes down to, hey, there were no good options on the table, so we chose this option. And I get that, I do. But it also means people on the other side also have no good options. Either you're someone like me who's throwing out trays that are designed to fit the miniatures that are unnecessary. So now I, in order to fit them into multiple boxes, am throwing out extra inserts that are useless to me and that I paid for, or you're forced to find some other storage solution or reassemble them. There's really no good options on the table. I get the frustration from people who, I mean, for myself, I don't care. Like, I didn't even think to note this in my review. I should have. I reviewed the Great Wall. I should have noted this in the review. I didn't think of it because it's not a problem I face. I seek to get rid of the inserts as soon as I know I'm keeping a game. When I'm still going to sell it, I keep all the inserts, do all that. But as soon as if I'm uncertain whether I'm keeping it or selling it, I keep all of that. But once I know I'm keeping a game, it automatically gets condensed. And so basically over here we have the main functions, the main cards, all that stuff is still in here. We have our deluxe tokens are all going to mostly nicely fit over here. I say mostly because the rocks in your deluxe set won't actually fit in one compartment. But if you mix them with the wood, it fits just fine. These are all going to be the deluxe upgraded sets. Then we have some of the barricades in here. Still not disassembling those. Some barricades here. All the base game cards over there. So everything base game is going to be sitting there in case I want to play simple, nice base game. Now, as soon as I want to expand to some of the expansions, well, I have all these cards in bags, properly sleeved, doing what I need to do over there. And we're just going to go ahead and put everything back. And while I'm at it, actually, see these over here? This is from the last time I cleaned up the game, where my kids had played with the game, and I found some of these after cleaning up. I was basically cleaning it up in the wrong order that they were playing within it. So, woe unto me or all that. I'm going to go ahead and drop some of those in there. That ought to do it. There, that there. And this can go in there. That's the first player coin. And boom, we got all of that like so. So, that is going to be the Great Wall. Let's just slowly rebox everything so you can see exactly how I do it, in case you care. I mean, you're still watching this video, so I imagine you care just a little bit. Then we're going to go ahead and put these, I believe I do it like this. Part of the fun, and by fun I don't mean fun, is kind of trying to remember exactly what it is you did and didn't do as you put things away, because sometimes you remember, and other times you don't. Hopefully, I mean, I'm on camera now, so hopefully it's one of those times I remember, because it's more awkward if it's one of the times that I don't. And sometimes, if you don't need every last ounce of space, then sometimes you don't need to do it perfectly, you just need to do it. And that will take care of it. So, it's all properly back in the box. You're going to put the lid back on. Oh, whoops, forgot the rule books, that's relevant. Those go on top. And then we put that away. And that is the Great Wall reboxed. Time to put that down on the floor somewhere. Now, the Great Wall is actually condensed enough in a way. It's not the only storage method I use, but it's condensed enough in a way that I can easily travel with that with no problems whatsoever. Versus this one is going to be a bit more of a problem in terms of travel friendliness. And again, this comes down to personal choice of the way I bag things and whatnot. So, let's go ahead and handle Root. Root's going to be bundled up into 2 boxes. This is before we're dealing with the Marauders expansion, because that hasn't landed from Kickstarter yet. But everything else for Root I have in here. Now, in this box over here, we just have all the boards and mats. That's all. Everything, boards, mats, all that stuff is going to be in this box. So, in case you're wondering, you know, we have board 1, we have board 2, and then we have all the various faction boards over here. Just, you know, doing their little thing, all going. Is something up with my camera? I feel like my camera's messing with the lights. Why is my light? Interesting. Alexa, set light strip to white. I don't know what happened there. Something happened to the light strip behind me. it's purple now. Either way, we're just going to move ahead forward, and we'll deal with the purple light strip. I think it came loose. It's done this once before. When the light strip comes a bit loose, it turns the light behind me purple. Don't ask me why. Either way, but we're going to go ahead and move on to the next box. The next box is going to be the base game, where I have everything else for the game stored in basically bags. Now, it's worth noting, I've done this in one of my deluxification videos before, but this is everything upgraded as well. So this is storing the sleeved cards, all that stuff, as well as deluxified tokens. We have the resin clearing markers, we have 3D printed tokens for, well, basically everything for Root, all stored nicely into this base game box. And that's going to be everything I have for Root, all stored nicely there. Which brings us to the very last game. I just brought Root out because I have everything nicely stored between two boxes, and it does the job just fine. Which brings us to the last of the things, which is going to be, where are we? Ankh. It's just 3 games. It's not a very long video. So, Ankh is going to be divided up into a few things. Now, in the first box, or third box, depending how you look at it, in this box, in Ankh Gods of Egypt, we have, well, all the stuff. Now, we have everything that we want that's deluxe over here. We have a little token outside a bag. If you're judging me, it's okay, I'm judging me too. And then we have all the cardboard stuff over here. So all the premium cardboard, everything over here, of which I haven't punched out like half the tokens yet, because you can see over here, I just punch that out, which we're going to throw that off to the side confidently. But yeah, we have all these over here, all these tokens and bags and boxes and boards and all these things. These probably I'll just take out and put them properly in the boards. And then everything is stored nicely over there. I have one board down here just to level it out, so everything is level. And then from there we put down these boards. These over here, I think these were off to the side. Nope, that doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem right. Maybe they're like this. Yeah, that seems about right over there. We have these. Again, this goes back to the fact that sometimes you're always trying to remember what goes where. Or at least I'm always trying to remember what goes where. If you're not, well, that's helpful. But for me, I'm still trying to figure out what goes where as I put everything away. So this can kind of fit there. We can put this down over there. And then we can just shove the cards on top. And that works. Again, it's not always the exact same way it went in or came out, but as long as it does the job, I don't really care. Now, these will save to put away in the other boxes when I actually get to the right components. So that's going to be box 1 of Ankh Gods of Egypt. Box 2 of Ankh Gods of Egypt. Let's put Root on the floor. Box 2 of Ankh Gods of Egypt is where we're going to have all the miniature compression here. Now, like I said already, I get rid of the vacuum seal trays. I get rid of the trays for the miniatures. I don't like the extra time it takes to try to figure out what goes where. And so we're going to have everything boxed up like so. This is not great for travel. What you're seeing here is not the best for travel. In fact, it's barely the best for sitting on a shelf. And it does mean that these go on my shelves in vertical storage. But the way I store it actually is usually in a cubby over here. And I have these 2 boxes on top one another like so. And then I have the third box in front of it. Basically, my entire Ankh set fits into one Calyx cubby if you do it like that. It fits perfectly, does the job. And over here we have all the Guardians, which is helpful because that means when you're setting up Ankh, if you're familiar with Ankh, all I have to do is set up the Guardians, then go to this entire box and grab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 miniatures, usually somewhere in that range, and you're good to go. This box doesn't need to be touched again until I'm cleaning everything up. So, it's a lot of wasted space, but accessibility is very high in this box. The ability to walk in and grab something and not have to worry about putting it back in the right place or the wrong place or all that works really well, and it means all my Guardians are in a single spot, which this is the kind of thing where... Sorry about that. This is the kind of thing where if these that's going to be a 10 out of 10 over there. This is the kind of thing where if these were in a single vacuum tray in a single box, if Ankh had said, here's all the Guardians for your entire Ankh game, all in one box, I'd actually probably keep the vacuum seal trays for these. The nature of the way Guardians are pulled in and out for gaming, it makes them very accessible, not a big deal. But they don't. They have them stored across 14 different boxes because of the nature of stretch goals and base game and optional buys and expansions and all that stuff. And so this is my solution. Having them all in a single box, very accessible, very easy to get to. And finally, we have the rest of the stuff, which basically means for Ankh, the way I have it set up is I have box 1, box 2, and then I access box 3 for the Guardians when I'm ready for that part. But this is going to be box 3 where we have, well, all our various bagged gods and whatnot. And then we don't actually, let me just pull this guy out of here. This guy, unfortunately, is too big to really go in the box on his own. He kind of, actually, does he fit? he's just a tad too high. You put him in the box, he's going to fit out just a notch. Although, to be fair, I think his head pops off, so not supposed to pop off. It needs to be glued, and I haven't gotten back to that. Oh, yay, let's just go ahead and decapitate this guy on camera. But either way, that's going to be him over here, and we have him along with his matching bag, and we put down the 2 gods who need to be stored on their side. Well, on their side. The rest of the gods are going to be standing up in their boxes, doing what they need to do. We're going to find my little token set of blues and yellows so I can put these away properly where they belong. And again, these are all the upgraded tokens. We have our various god bags, very accessible. It makes the whole setup. If you start with this as your base, which is going to give you all the cards you need, this small box which stores all the cards, the board, everything else, start with that, and that will let you choose your god, choose your guardians, and then you just need to access the 2 bigger boxes to find the associated troops of the gods you have, as well as the associated guardians, and that's going to result, let me just move this on camera, it was off camera the whole time, but that's going to give you everything you need for Ankh in 3 boxes. Minimal setup, minimal teardown. Again, not the best as far as your options in terms of, well, the protection of your miniatures, travel, all that. Like, I would not travel, like, on a long road trip in these boxes. If I'm driving over to my friend's house to play Ankh, I'll take these 3 boxes. I'll be fine. Miniatures might move around. It's okay. Nothing's getting hurt. Again, I've been doing this for a long time. Miniatures do die. It happens. But it rarely, if ever, it's possible it's happened. I don't recall it really happening where just because of the way I store my miniatures, they fall apart. But again, accessibility is key. You could kind of, if you really wanted to, I could compress this and this into the same box, but it would take away from the accessibility. And since as it is, it already perfectly fits into a single calyx cubby, well, it's good enough for me. That's going to be your reboxing of Ankh, of the Great Wall, and of Root, the way I store and compress the games. I do have a series on the channel where I talk about deluxifications. Very often I have custom inserts in that series. But I don't always get custom inserts. Blood Rage is going to be a great example. They have this beautiful, like, wooden insert. I don't know if it's broken token or not, but if it is, find an alternative, or don't, whatever, longer story there. But either way, Blood Rage is a good example of a game where I haven't gotten the insert because I don't believe it adds to the accessibility. I believe it just makes it prettier, but still has accessibility issues. For me, my entire Blood Rage, in fact, Blood Rage is probably a good game to do this on the next time I do one of these videos again. But if you like this series, if you want to see more reboxings of various games and the way I store them, I don't have a ton of them, but I do have probably 15, 20 games or so that are large enough, and I have all the expansions, and I've condensed them, and I didn't use an insert. I just bagged and condensed the way it made sense to me. If you're interested in more of that, let me know. If you're not, well, that's okay. I had fun doing this, and I'll do it on my own sometime. That's basically it. I am Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, have a good one. Alright, I'm gonna go see if I can fix the light. Give me a second. Alexa, set light strip to white. There we go. There we go. It wasn't over there. It was a loose wire right back up there. But now it's all fixed. And I just spent the past 10 minutes filming a video all in pink. Either way, thanks for being here. Have a good one.